well, maybe, what is they? Second time, third time's a charm.
I can even hold this there so that,
Yeah,
like,
it's easier.
just so you don't have to keep moving the mic as much.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, cool. Okay, so how does that sound through the headphones for you? Can you speak to us, Stephen?
I can.
Yep, just keep talking.
About anything or what my day was. Went out to a mine and we spent a couple of hours there, and quite interesting day that we've had so far. So
yeah, nice one. I think that actually works pretty well. So I think let's just do it that way.
Okay.
So you guys are free to just take it away if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Well, without further ado, do you want me to lock the door?
Nah, it's all right.
Okay. All right. All right. So you ready, Stephen? Now
I'm ready to go here.
Yeah. Okay. Now I just want you to think. So just think of me as if I'm a mate at a barbecue and we're just having a chat. So just relax. Don't overthink it. Just speak from the heart. All right. So your role is the district workers representative within the Mines Inspectorate. What exactly do you do and what areas do you cover in the district?
The district's fairly big. I go from the Northern Territory border across to Hughenden and up from the Gulf Country down to the open field south of Winton. Part of my job is to attend pre-start meetings, safe start meetings at the end of the shift or the start of the shift, depending on whether I'm staying out on job sites. I just talk to the guys about safety, health, the general well-being, and this is any issues I can help them resolve on the job. And they know they're going to talk to me and talk to me in confidence. That's basically what I do. There's a fair bit of travel in it, but it's certainly a very worthwhile job when you get a few results and get out to the mines and have a chat with the guys.
Fantastic, Stephen. And you mentioned results. What are some examples of positive results that you get from doing what you do?
Well, a few of the bits and pieces of advice, and I also take out when I go out there is incidents, accidents that have happened which I feel relate to their particular task, their industry, and I highlight them. And I think coming from a background of mining myself, they listen to some of the older blokes with experience, and some of the accidents, as I say, incidents, they haven't heard of, and sort of brings it to the fore about how simple sometimes they could be to avoid. At the same time, how simple they can be caused to happen.
And Stephen, is a district workers representative the same thing as a mines inspector?
No, we're a little bit different. I'm often asked that. I tell them the difference between a district workers rep and a mines inspector is $95,000 a year in a Prado. But I do have certain areas of authority, but I will often go out with inspectors. Like yesterday, the day before, I accompanied inspectors to jobs while they're doing inspections. And whilst this is happening, quite a number of the mines they give me a guide or somebody to accompany me throughout the mine. I talk to the guys while they're doing inspections.
Oh, fantastic. Wow, that's a really interesting perspective about the Prado. So how many district workers representatives are there, or are you a lone soldier?
No, I'm one of three. My counterparts, there's one in Townsville. He covers from Mackay up to the Cape, and Murray down south has the Brisbane area up as far as Rockhampton, I think. Yeah. So the three of us, we have a fairly big area, like the Northwest Mineral Province, which I cover, is something like 47 million hectares or something, a quarter of Queensland.
Geez, that's a lot of room. So, Stephen, why do you do what you do?
Well, I retired a couple of years ago because I'm getting on a bit. I'm not going to reveal my age, but I was going to retire. I love Mount Isa. It's a great place. And so I was in retirement for about 2 weeks and realised that I'm too young, too active to be sitting around all day. So this job came up with the department, so I put in for it. And lucky enough, scored the role as district workers rep. And I just enjoy going out to the mines. I see the old faces. Plus, I think I first went underground in 1969. So after 50 years. It gets into your blood. It's the greatest industry in the world, and love being a part of it. And I'm going to be for as long as I can, till nobody wants me anymore.
Oh, that's fantastic, Stephen. I think it's quite inspiring to hear how much passion and joy you get out of working in this space. And I think a lot of us can take a bit of that inspiration and hopefully find the same level of joy in what we do as you do. So,
I try to tell the guys when I've addressed thousands of men in the last 2.5 years that if you're going to work with a sense of humour, have a bit of fun, you're going to turn a 12-hour day into to 8. Or you can easily turn it into a 20-hour day if you have a sour outlook on life. But yeah, it's about going to work, having a bit of fun. And with 12-hour shifts, especially the rosters, 7 days on, 14 days on, the people out in these mine sites, they really do become family. They probably spend more waking hours with their workmates than they do with family. So yeah, it's important to get that across to them, that it's not only themselves they look after, but look after each other. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And can you tell us, Stephen, talk us through a day in your life? What does that look like from the minute you get out of bed to switching the lights off at night? Can you talk us through that journey?
Well, if I'm going out to a mine that's where they have their pre-start or safe start meetings, whatever they want to call them, at 6 o'clock, sometimes I'll get up at 4:30, drive out to the mine site, and usually mingle with the guys before they're all called into meetings. And then I'll stand there while they have their deployment. They get their jobs for the day, and then they'll talk about the issues, concerns, safety concerns that were brought up from the day before, or what could happen during the day. After they've all finished, I'm usually given the floor, and every mine gives me ample time to address the guys. And once again, I'll tell them a few incidents, accidents, what to look out for. And it's not necessarily always about actual mining industry. I push these days, especially with the hot weather up here in northwest Queensland, is sun safety if they're working open cuts or quarries. It's just, as I said, it's not just safety and health, it's about their general well-being. And a lot of these things that I talk about, a few of them sort of say after, like I say to them, take these home with you. Wife, kids, or, family, friends. And and then I'll probably go underground. Like yesterday, I went into a mine site. I spoke to the blokes, went with them from about 7 to 7:45. Then I got decked out in the gear and I went underground for about 3 hours with what we call in metallurgical mining the shift boss. We drove around to all the sites. I looked at the jobs, had a chat to the guys, came back came back into town after lunch. Just filled out a couple of reports from the visit, and then I'll try to plan out the following days. I can't go to a mine site every day simply due to the driving the distances, but next week I'm leaving Monday lunchtime and going out to a number of mines, staying overnight on the campsites at the dongas and that, and come back Thursday afternoon. And it's just it's just great to see the guys, and you get a real insight into firstly FIFO. As I said before, it keeps me involved with mining.
So the perception of, when we talk about guys that are on these mines and quarry sites, when they see Steve Carson rocking up, the district workers representative, or any of the other two guys that share this work with you, versus a mines inspector, what do you think the perception is with the role you have versus a mines inspector? What's the difference you think there?
Well, I think they feel they can talk to me better than the inspectors, because it's I am one of the guys. I emphasise at all the meetings that myself, my two counterparts, we're workers, we're mining people. Never ever lost the sight of the fact I'm a mining man. I'm one of you. We're all part of a great industry, and I think they can feel they can talk to me. And it's not always about just mining. There might be some conferences they want to share. I'm not the father confessor, but it's important that they know that they can talk to me. I always start every meeting with the information that speaking to me, your names remain anonymous, which is an absolute a plus. But I will say on this particular area here in northwest Queensland here, the inspectors I work with, they are very well respected throughout the community. And our boss, Phil, he pushes the fact we're not policemen. We're called inspectors, but we're not policemen. And so this particular site up here in Mount Isa and around the district, we've got a very good reputation. I don't think anybody fears us driving onto site. They know we're there to help them. And and we all learn off each other. You can learn something new every day. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And can you tell us about the challenges and struggles you commonly face?
Well, 2 days ago, one of the challenges was when I was going out to this remote mine, there was 7 camels stood across the road. And I blew the horn and pipped and drove up, and they just stood there. And then I got out and used the old Aussie slang, shouting at them. But I sat there for 5 minutes until they were ready to leave. But the challenges, I guess, are, well, I don't see any challenges in so much as talking to the guys, because most of them know I've been there, I've done that. Not that I'm big note myself about that, but they know they can talk to me about it. Now and again, you get the people that may be a little bit suspicious about what's his real motive for being here, but there's not. It's just about helping out wherever I can. If people on mine sites are injured, they come into hospital, they're brought into hospital, have a day or two, maybe a week or so before they're flown out. I go to visit them. It's not my job description or role, but I go up there because some of them are thousands of kilometres from home, so they know they've got somebody in Mount Isa, magazines, papers, cigarettes, all that sort of stuff. They've got somebody here that they can give. I leave a card. If they need anything, they can give me a call. And so it's important that they know they're not alone. There's somebody here. Yeah. It's a great feeling, that when you get some bloke, a few months later comes up at the mine site and you sort of recognise him, and he says, "Oh, look, you helped me out a few months ago in the hospital there. Thanks very much, really appreciate it." Told all the blokes about it. And it's nice to have a reputation where you're a sort of stand-up man, if you know what I mean. And that's in mining, like most industries, especially mining, the biggest thing you've got to have is respect. And I feel I have a degree of respect from most of the guys. Yeah.
Wow, Stephen, sounds like you've got a reputation of being an absolute legend, just from what I'm hearing. So what?
At the Irish Club on a Friday night.
Well, you mentioned.
Come and tell me your problems there sometimes, but yeah, you'll need to be there before 9 o'clock. And I'll start speaking Gaelic.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's all about fellowship, camaraderie, and that's what it's all about with me. Yeah. That's
brilliant. And you mentioned you saw camels in front of your car, like you had camels roll up to your car. Wild camels. What's what? That's pretty funny. What is the funniest thing you've experienced on site? Because this seems like maybe, does it happen regularly, or have you seen funnier things happen?
Oh no, there's not. Probably one of the funniest, in hindsight, funniest things that happened. As you well know, I'm probably the most technologically challenged man in Australia. But when I first started this job, I didn't have a mobile phone before that. And the first week I went out to a site and I stayed overnight. And the first morning I had to get up at 4:30 to go to the mess for breakfast. So at 8:30, I went to plug the alarm in the room I was in, and somebody had broken the plug. So the clock wasn't working. Everybody was fast asleep. So I knew there was an alarm on my phone, but I didn't know how to use it. So I rang my wife and asked her, could she set her alarm for 4:30 and ring me? And she said no. And so I mucked around with the phone for about 10 or 15 minutes, and we've all got those phones where the numbers spin up and down and everything. So I finally got what I thought was a setting and went to sleep, and at 10:10 I woke up and there was bird song in the room. And I thought, that sounds like birds. And I saw my phone flashing. I'm must have set the alarm for 10 past 10. And then at 11:15 it went off, and 5 past 12. And I came back and I told the inspector I thought there was something wrong with the phone, and he's informed me you've set it 7 times, Steve. So that was rather amusing now, but not quite at the time. As I sat down for breakfast, the manager asked me how I slept. I said I'd pretty good, except for the bloody birds. And I never quite told him because, yeah. So I'm not very good with technology, and I get a few things mixed up. But yeah, you just see funny things happen, and you hear funny things, and most of them, Rachel, are you have to be there. You had to be there to see it. And of course, some anecdotes, the names and dates will change to protect the innocent, if you know what I mean. But no, most mining men have always got a great sense of humour. That's just what I love about it as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. This is actually a really entertaining podcast, I have to tell you. So can you tell us something about you, like maybe it's a party trick or something interesting or special that you can do, but PG rated, of course?
Yeah, look, it's a bit of an uncanny ability, or in the shower I sound exactly like the Bee Gees, Michael Bublé. I'm just I can mime anybody in the shower. There's probably a lot of people will disagree with that, but I cycle every year. I cycle from Mount Isa to the Northern Territory border, 202 kilometres, in a charity ride that I organise, raise funds for charity and worthwhile organisations. And so far, in a small town like Mount Isa, we started it 13 years ago, myself, and have raised, with a committee, of course, various people on the committee over the years, over 140,000. So, yeah, I like to think that I can raise money for charities.
Oh, that's fantastic, Stephen. My goodness, you just...
Yeah. Can you ride a bike, Rachel?
I have participated in a charity road bike fundraiser. I think it was about
the first weekend in August.
First weekend of August. Okay.
And you don't have to ride the whole 202k.
Okay, I think my limit's been 50 kilometres, and I was like a heaving hippopotamus at the back of the line while my boss was swanning through the streets on a road bike. But hey, if that's what it takes to be part of a team, I'll count me in. I think we've got this on record, so I guess I've made a commitment to
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Now, is there anything that that I haven't quite asked you yet, or a question that I should ask you? I guess one. Sorry, there is one. When it comes to a mine or quarry, at what stage does a district workers representative get involved versus when a mines inspector gets involved?
I think it may be just sometimes you'll get a lot of people come with a complaint that is actually HR or industrial, so much as a union issue, and that's when I will sort of sit down and discuss things about them. But there's also there are some safety issues that it's just a fact of life that sometimes things are overlooked, and people might be concerned that look, these issues that I've brought up are not being brought to the forefront; they're being overlooked, and so it's important. And I know my counterparts, Murray and Des, do the same thing. Before I leave any mine site, I will speak to the manager or the SSE about issues that have arisen that I feel he should be made aware of, and some of the issues that probably maybe need a bit of a look at. And of course, on mine sites these days, it doesn't matter what the industry, building, catering, whatever. If there's a job there that somebody is at immediate risk, or somebody could be, anybody has the ability to stop that job. But there's other areas where, for example, machinery, electrical, mining, ground structures and that, the department has specialist inspectors in those areas, mechanical, geo, all that sort of stuff. Then I will bring it back I'm sort of the eyes and ears a little bit for inspectors, but the inspectors do go out on a regular basis to check things. So yeah, they play an extremely important role, and I think what helps make this job, and I suppose I'm giving them a plug, the guys I work with, but the fellas here I'm part of the team. I feel I'm an important and integral part of the team, which really helps the workday. And I can speak to them about any issues, any problems, and they listen to me, give me a fair hearing, and I know at times they've rescheduled things so they can go out and look at particular issues. So yeah, and that's once again, I think the guys are prepared to ring me up, come to me, talk to me, see me on the job, because they know it's all confidential, anonymous. And I think that is probably, I'm a stepping stone to the inspectors for a lot of guys. So yeah.
Fantastic. And just another question, what got you into mining in the first place?
Into mining?
Yeah, into this industry, what got you into the mining sector?
When I was 18 and 68 or 69, I was 19, I was offered a job in a mine called Hatches Creek in Northern Territory, in the middle of nowhere. And so I was in between jobs, and I thought I'll go up there and give it a go for a couple of weeks. Stayed for 6 months, made an absolute fortune, and the industry, I've never been out of mining since. I left the mines at Mount Isa Mines after 35 years. I went and I was a manager, and I run underground tours at a tourist mine for 3 years. And then I went back to Mount Isa Mines for a further 9 years. So I got 44 years and 5 months underground at the mines, and I've never worked anywhere but underground. It's like I got friends who are truck drivers. What the heck do you want to drive a truck for all your life? What the hell do you want to go underground all your life for? It's just things. You go and meet some of these opal miners. You see shows about them and all this and that. It's like gold fever, opal fever, tin fever, and I guess mining in general is just a fever. It gives you a great life. It's given me, a man with no high school education, no trade, no profession, it's given me a great life. I met the greatest men and women you could ever wish to meet in this life, and I do not regret 1 minute of it, and never will. So yeah, I'm giving something back, I hope, to the guys that I go out to see, because they've given me so much over the years, and the ladies as well, yeah.
Oh, well, wow. And can you just describe to us, when you go down to an underground mine, for someone who's never seen what that looks like, what is that? What does that look like?
If you turn your light off, it's actually pitch black. You can put your finger on your nose and you can't see it. It's another world. You need to go underground to experience underground. And it's if you come for the bike ride, I'll take you underground for a look.
Sounds great. I'll take you up on that offer.
But no, it's a different world. It's not what people think. We're not crawling around on our hands and knees and bumping our heads. Some of these mines now, you can actually drive a road train with three trailers behind down there. Some of them are absolutely massive. So yeah, and of course there's still the small mines around, like the opal mines. You will bump your head, but it's a different world. It's big, it's loud, noisy, but yeah, it's something you either take to or you don't. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great description. Wow, Stephen, you have been absolutely fantastic. Do you have any other questions, comments, or how about you, Ben? Do you have anything we should add on in that?
No.
It's going to be hard for us to cut this down, I tell you. I think this entire podcast could just be shared verbatim. But wow, any comments, Stephen, before we wrap it up?
No, just whatever your job is for the department, go in and try and have some fun today. some people ask me what gets me out of bed each day. I don't want to waste any time I've got left. We live in a wonderful world. It's a great life. It's a great life. We all, and people can have ups and downs. Talk to somebody about it if you're on the down, but if you're on the up, have a smile. I always, me and a couple of other old mates always have a saying that when people say, "How you going?" Great. We woke up on the right side of the grass this morning, and it's a great industry, and it doesn't matter what your role is for the DNRME. You're part of the mining industry. You are part of the greatest industry in the world. I've said it 100 times, and I'll say it another 1,000 times during my time. You're part of a great industry. And I thank all the people that are probably, listening to this. I've never done a podcast before, and I've only listened to one. It went for 55 minutes, and I got the feeling we'll ever get that 56 or 55 minutes back again, which is probably what the feeling that most of the people who are listening to this will feel at the end of this one. But I think to those who are listening, I thank you for your time, and if you're ever in Mount Isa, come down to the department. We'll go have a coffee. We'll catch up, and I'll tell you a few stories I can't tell you on podcast.
Oh, thank you so much, Stephen. Honestly, you have been incredible today. Thank you for your time. You've been very generous, and you've been an absolute legend. You've certainly inspired me. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your journey, sharing what it's like to be out there living amongst the mines and with the wonderful people that are out there. You've certainly inspired me. So thank you again, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Legend. All right.
That's about it. So I'll let Rachel sign off, I guess.
Okay, well, look, thanks very much, Ben.
Oh.